My, 49 male, wife, 48 female, left the family for her affair partner a year ago, but now she says she wants to fix things. My wife and I have been married for just over 9 years. We have an 8-year-old son together. She was a full-time stay-at-home mom after our son was born. However, in April of 2019, she went back into the workforce, working part-time as an assistant for a manager at a medical software sales company. She was bummed that she wasn't pulling in a lot in terms of salary, but I was happy for her because I hoped that a job would be motivating for her. She had already complained that she wished I could be more spontaneous and interesting, but despite attempts at counseling, she could never explain what interesting meant. However, 3 months into her job, I found her to be a more happy person, less critical of everything I do, and a more patient mother to our son. Our intimate life had basically been dead for around 5 years, and she had grown interest in recharging that. What I didn't know was that she had begun an affair with a surgeon, now 53 male, she met at a medical conference. Her job involves travel to go to medical conferences and visit clinics and hospitals. The surgeon lived in a nearby big city, and she would use work as an excuse to see him. This went on behind my back, as she would later tell me, from July 2019 to around April 2020, when she admitted that her work was much more remote during COVID than she had convinced me it was, and she had been driving to see her affair partner. She told me the affair partner was interesting and he was everything that I wasn't, meaning he made a lot of money, had lucrative side businesses with his family, and lectured around the country and loved to travel and enjoy life. She said she regretted becoming a mom because it has made her stay with me for the greater part of a decade and that she needed time to think. She told me to not follow her and had already had loaded up her car and left to stay in a room that she was subletting from a friend. I was left to deal with the fallout, including my son's troubling levels of anxiety and his increased inability to get along with anyone in school. He's cried himself to sleep thinking he's unloved, and my wife refused to return calls. The only thing she did do was send me a letter establishing the date of separation and her intention to file for divorce a year from the date of separation. People are telling me to file for divorce as soon as our state lets us and tell the court that my wife abandoned the family. 5 months ago, she tried to get me to sign a separation agreement with bogus terms, which I refused and decided to go see a lawyer. Then, 2 months ago, she started talking to me about how she wants to be more civil with me from now on. Then last week, she asked to meet. She starts crying and saying her affair partner was abusive and that he told her that he was divorcing his wife of 3 years, 26 female, who he was separated from. Turns out, the wife was in another city finishing up her final year of graduate school, but when she found out about the affair, she went psycho, and the affair partner stood by and did nothing as his wife called my wife's employer, which caused her to have to leave her job. He merely admitted that he did adore his wife and wanted to let her follow her dreams, but had a hard time dealing with long distance, and pretty much admitted that his wife said she was okay with him having one-night stands, but he regrets hurting her now and for letting it drag on. The affair partner also said nothing when his wife texted my wife that he was not leaving her and that they would file restraining orders if she ever contacted them again. My wife said that she had a moment of insanity and that she was willing to get therapy, but that at no point did she intend to be malicious and that she was a victim of his lies. She said she was struggling and said she wanted to move back in and be a family again. What do I do? How do I deal with someone who has caused so much pain? If we're cohabitating again, I can't guarantee that I won't develop feelings for her again. Most importantly, I don't know how to deal with this in a way to inflict the least trauma on my son. I had been prepared to respond to a divorce petition, but my wife said she'd lose it if I filed right now and said she just wanted to find the love we once had. Here's some community comments. Buzz Sidekicker says, never be someone's second choice. Get a good lawyer and follow their advice. Keep contact minimal, civil, and only related to the child. Get your son some good therapy as soon as possible. Your lawyer should make sure she pays for half of it. Potato1819 says, this exactly. OP, your wife didn't have a moment of insanity or was a victim of lies. She's acting like the victim now because her selfish plans didn't work out, and now she has no place or money to fall back on. The only victims here are you and your son. She didn't give a crap about her son's well-being. She only cared about herself and no one else. She belongs to the streets. If she wants to do therapy, she can do that on her own. Period. One more comment, then we'll move on. Nona Organic thinks, Sir, your wife spit on your marriage vows and abandoned her child. When she walked out the door, She didn't give a damn about blowing up your family and the mental and emotional trauma she was causing your son. Your wife doesn't respect you. If she had, she wouldn't have cheated. She looked you in the face while she slept with another man behind your back, and you were clueless. She took you for a fool and got a thrill out of deceiving you and humiliating you. Then she rejected you and casted you off. Everything she's put you and your son through, and you let her slither back into your home? I hope you don't respect yourself. Why should your wife? She will never stop cheating on you. The love you had? Does she remember saying she wished she never had your son because he tied her to you? And may meet another affair partner and again desert your family and discard your marriage. More importantly, she'll upend your son's life again, destroying him. You would be a poor parent to allow your wife to injure your son in that way. She has done nothing for your forgiveness. She's taken no accountability for what she's done to your family. She blames her affair partner. He didn't force her to denigrate you and neglect your son. The only reason she's back is because her affair partner dumped her. She never had any intention on returning. Ever. You'd be insane to take her back. Or help her. If you refuse to retain some dignity and self-respect for yourself, at least protect your boy. Moving on to cheating spouse doesn't want to try to save our marriage, but also doesn't want to leave. Is this normal? My 37 female husband, 38 male, and I have been married for 13 years. We have a 2.5-year-old together. He started acting distant and less affectionate in late February, early March. I thought he was stressed, overworked, etc. When pressed, he finally confessed that 3 years prior, he had an affair. This was the same time frame we were trying to start a family. He said it ended and no longer has contact, etc. I have a feeling it ended when I got pregnant, but that all feels irrelevant now. The worst part was, he said he wasn't in love with me anymore and didn't think he could get those feelings back. I begged for him to try. I was blindsided. I thought we had a great relationship. We get along great, enjoy spending time together, work well together, etc. I thought we were happy, maybe in a bit of a rut and lacking in the bedroom, but a pregnancy and a baby can do that to you. He was even talking about what we would do during retirement just before this came up. I asked if there was anyone currently, and he denied it several times. We went through a few weeks of emotional conversations, lots of tears, sleepless nights, etc. I lost weight because I could barely eat. He talked about getting an apartment but kept putting it off. Then I noticed a phone number that he had lengthy phone calls to, and when I asked him about it, he acted like he had no idea what they were, even when he had just had a 20-minute conversation with them that morning. Well, it turns out it was a current affair partner. He claimed they were just talking, but admitted to liking her, and she is aware he is married and is in a relationship of her own as well. Who does that? Once I saw a phone call to a hotel, I knew for sure that just friends, just talking was complete BS. He still won't outright admit it, but isn't denying it either. He says he doesn't know what he wants, and he is trying to process everything, but also claims he fell out of love years ago. He keeps saying to give him time, and I'm trying to, but I also don't want to be stuck in limbo. When I realized he was texting her next to me on the couch, I'd lost it. I told him he has to decide if he wants to try to work things out with me, and I would give him all the time he needs, or he can see where things go with her. But if he picks her, he needed to move out, and I would not be there if he changed his mind. But feeling out a relationship with someone else while I waited around was not okay, and I deserve more respect. So he told her he had to stop communicating with her so he could get his head straight and make a decision regarding his marriage without outside influence. So far, that seems to be true, but it doesn't matter if he has no desire to attempt to reconcile. I am done getting my hopes up. Throughout this whole process, he keeps saying how much he cares about me, that I am one of 2 people he is closest to, and he doesn't want to lose that. We comfort each other, hug and hold each other daily. We are not sleeping together. Literally, we sleep in separate beds. No sex, no kissing, except him kissing me on the head. But every time I tell him I am letting him go, that I am coming to terms with the end of our marriage and giving him what he wants, he breaks down. I know a lot of it, most of it, is because he doesn't want to lose time with our son. He doesn't want to live somewhere else and miss all the little things, like hugs when he gets home from work or his bedtime routine. He says the thought of not seeing him all the time makes him sick to his stomach. But I point out that he also isn't making an effort to repair our marriage, which is the only scenario where we would continue to live together as a family. That he doesn't want me, he just doesn't want the changes and repercussions of a divorce. He says that's part of it, but he still does care about me and doesn't want to lose me. Honestly, it would be a long, difficult, and maybe impossible journey to repair our relationship. He knows I am still waiting to make the effort, but I can't make him want to. But it seems he is paralyzed. He has so far refused individual therapy, marriage counseling, and honestly tries to avoid talking about the elephant in the room. I actually got him to start a joint marriage counseling app, but he just started it last night, so it may not go anywhere either. It's been over 10 weeks now since D-Day. I don't know what to do at this point. This feels like such a bizarre situation, and I don't know if I should continue to give him time and leave reconciliation as an option, or push him to move out and do a separation, or blindside him with the divorce papers, which I don't want to do because I believe we can stay amicable and civil even if we split. It's just exhausting, and even when things are going well, at some point I just crumble at the reality of it all. I am open to questions, insights, gentle reality checks, etc. Just please be kind, and thank you for taking the time to read and respond. She asked for responses, and here they are. Blood-filled pelvis says, he wants his cake and to eat it too. He doesn't want you to go. He doesn't want to lose a portion of his fatherhood. It would be a hassle to live on his own at this point probably, but he also wants other people. You might have to make the decision for him because, yes, stringing you along and not respecting your boundaries or needs is not someone I could continue to trust. My cynical brain is like, he's trying to figure out how to have it all, how to figure out how to make the marriage work and have his side pieces. Like, if you're poly or open, then great, but it sounds like you are monogamous and he's putting you through a lot. I truly hope you and your son find peace. This sounds so stressful and I am so sorry you're being put through this. What you need is also important. Sampa2NYC says, sorry this has happened to you, but you must come to the realization that your marriage is over. Your husband in his words and actions has told you he doesn't love you. He loves his son, cares for you, and doesn't want to face any consequences for his actions. You must now be the proactive one. Consult with a lawyer to see how a divorce will look like for you. Get the paperwork drawn up and present it to your husband. This doesn't mean you have to go through with a divorce. In your case, it may be the best if you do go through with it. He has already distanced himself from you. No sex, nor kissing except for on the forehead. Are you a dog? What the heck? And refuse therapy. Get individual counseling for yourself. Make him move out. You should not move out because that would have an adverse effect on you during divorce proceedings. Lean in to trusted family and friends for support. Keep busy and press on. This will be difficult, but right now the most important people in this equation are you and your son. You can divorce and still be amicable. He may be a good father, but he is a lousy husband. Remember the 3 pillars of any successful relationship: love, trust, and respect. You must have all 3 if your marriage is to survive. Your husband clearly doesn't respect you or the marriage. Caring for someone, especially your spouse, is not love. And finally, do you ever think you could trust him again? He has cheated twice and lied about it both times. You must make the decision. Do you want to be a warden or a wife? Again, sorry this has happened to you. Best of luck.